Set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire.
Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be doing a story time video. I just want to let you guys know this was a few years ago. Everybody's okay. This was not recent, so it doesn't even include Ben at all or Ella because they weren't even in the picture when this was going on. But in a few vlogs back, we were driving through Garden of the Gods, which is here in Colorado Springs. We mentioned that I actually had a car accident that was in Garden of the Gods, and we asked you guys, and a lot of people commented that you wanted to see the car accident story time. So here I am doing the car accident story time. So let's just dive on in. So this happened in April of 2016. No, April 2015 or April 2016. I don't remember. I think it's 2015. I am going to be doing a draw my life video. This will kind of make sense when I put this in there, and this will kind of further explain a little bit that went on in my life after the car accident. And I don't even know if Ben knows this entire story, so yeah. I just want to put out there that I don't want to compare people's accidents or people's tragedies. Like, people may say, oh, like, that isn't that big of a deal, like, you weren't even like hurt, like nothing really happened to you, you didn't lose anybody, nobody died. Nobody has to die for it to be like a traumatic experience. And I just don't want to say that my situation is worse than yours, and I don't want you to say that your situation is worse than mine. I'm just coming on here to open up a little bit more to you guys and just let you guys know a little bit more about me and get inside my life a little bit more. I'm going to talk a little bit before the accident to kind of just give you guys a little bit of a picture of what was going on in my life. I was dating one of my first boyfriends. Okay, so this had to have been 2015 because I was 16 years old and I was turning 17 that summer, so it was 2015. There's a lot of the car accident that I don't remember that I've been told. So we're just gonna do our best to remember the entire thing, and I'm going to try to explain it like to the best of my ability. I had a boyfriend at the time, and I don't think that we had been dating very long. I think we had been dating for about a month maybe. Prom was in April, and I was going with my boyfriend at the time, and one of my friends was going with her boyfriend, and our two boyfriends happened to be brothers. So we're gonna give people names. I'm not gonna say their actual name. But let's just say my boyfriend's name, let's just say his name was Jeffrey. My friend's name is Sarah. Sarah, if you're watching this, hey. So Jeffrey was my boyfriend, Sarah was my friend, and Marcus was her boyfriend. So Marcus, Sarah, I forgot the name already. Jeffrey. Okay, Jeffrey, Sarah, Marcus. Okay, all four of us were going in a group to prom together, and we hadn't been dating these guys for very long, so we decided, hey, let's hang out. Let's like swing dance, I guess. They wanted to teach us how to swing dance. This is part of the story that I don't really remember that my friend had to kind of fill me in. We decided that we wanted to go and try and swing dance. I don't remember before the car accident. I don't remember the couple weeks after the car accident, but I just have seen pictures and I've heard stories. I have no idea what my situation was with my parents at the time. You guys will hear in my Draw My Life video that my relationship with my parents wasn't very good at the time. So I don't really know if I was sneaking out, if they knew where I was. I don't really know. Anyways, we decided to go to the mall, all four of us. That, I don't know why. We just decided to go to the mall, and the mall was actually closed or almost closing when we got there, and for some reason the doors were already open but the shops were like locked. There was nobody in the mall except for like janitors, and we were standing in this little area of just tile and we were swing dancing, I guess. I don't remember. After we decided to stop swing dancing, I can imagine this is probably around 10 or 11 at night because the mall was closed, and we decided, hey, we still want to hang out. What do you guys want to do? Somebody came up with the idea, like, let's just go drive around Garden of the Gods. I want to put this out there. Nobody was intoxicated. Nobody was smoking. Nobody was drinking. Like, we were good Christian homeschooled kids and we weren't doing that. So I don't know how this happened. We decided to go into Jeffrey and Marcus's car, and I remember it being rainy outside. So it's April. It wasn't really snowing. It was kind of chilly. It was just a little bit rainy at the time. It was pitch black outside, and we decided to head to Garden of the Gods. So we walk up to the car that we were about to get into, and Marcus, Sarah's boyfriend, is driving. Sarah is in the passenger seat, and then I walked up to the right side of the car pulled the door that's in the back and it didn't open. They were like, oh, that door doesn't open, you have to go in through the other side. And I was like, okay, cool. So my boyfriend Jeffrey got into the middle seat in the back. There's only like 5 seats. It was kind of like an old 4Runner. I don't remember exactly what car it was, but it had just the 2 front seats and then the 3 seats in the back. So my boyfriend was sitting next to me and I was sitting on the left side of the car because he had gotten in before me and he was sitting in the middle. He wanted to sit next to me. I don't know. Sarah and Marcus both apparently have their seatbelts on. I don't remember if our seatbelts are working or not. I like vaguely remember them saying like the seatbelts didn't work in the back, but maybe they did because I don't have a good memory of this. But we weren't wearing seatbelts. Moral of the story. And we start heading down to Garden of the Gods. I just remember it being really rainy and it was like a 10-minute drive. I don't think I was really paying attention to what was going on. I was just talking to my boyfriend and they were talking to each other. And then all of a sudden we just happened to be in Garden of the Gods. Like I wasn't paying attention to where we were, what time it was. I was just having a good time. Once again, nobody's drinking, nobody's smoking. Everybody's sober, just having a good time, and we pull into Garden of the Gods. Marcus seems to be speeding a little bit more than normal. Like it caught our attention. Let's just say that. Like it caught our attention in the back seat, and we were like, you need to slow down. Like it's rainy outside, you need to slow down. It was kind of like a joke at first. And so we're driving through Garden of the Gods, and if you guys remember in the vlog, if you don't, I forget what vlog it is, but we drove through Garden of the Gods and I showed you guys the turn that it is at, and the turn is like a 180-degree turn. It is a U-turn basically, and the speed limit is like 15 miles an hour, and I'm pretty sure we're going either 35 or 45 through there. Pitch black. There's no lights anywhere lighting up Garden of the Gods. It's pitch black, so you can just see like literally what is in front of you, and that is it. And that's why the speed limit is 15 miles an hour. And all of a sudden in the back we're just like, okay, slow down, slow down. And all I remember is looking straight forward, like watching where we were going and just seeing like this guardrail get closer and closer and closer, and then I just remember it being like white and just quiet, and then waking up for a second, like a split second, looking down at my lap. My boyfriend's head was in my lap and he was just shaking uncontrollably. He was having a seizure, and then I guess I blacked out again. After that, my friend Sarah was over out of the car on my side trying to pull me out of the car, and I had no idea what was going on. My boyfriend had stopped moving. He was just laying in my lap, and I was screaming, is he dead? Is he dead? Is everybody okay? Is he dead? What's going on? What happened? Is he dead? Is he dead? I thought that he died because I woke up, he was shaking. I woke up again and he wasn't moving at all, and I had no idea what was going on. The next thing I remember is I was sitting in the road and there was just glass everywhere. I just remember just everything kind of going around me, and I had no sense of time. I had no sense of like location. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. I was so confused. My friend would keep coming over, are you okay? Are you okay? I would be like, yeah, I think so. I don't know what's going on. Apparently what had happened in the meantime, which I wasn't like awake for, I guess, is Sarah and Marcus had their seatbelt on. We hit the guardrail, bounced off the guardrail, hit the guardrail again, then bounced off again. And in that time, my boyfriend had flown all the way to the right side of the car, busted out the window with his head, come back, I guess fallen in my lap, and then I was kind of the same way. I fell this way, probably ran into him, flew back this way. Like I just remember holding on to, so like my left arm was pretty messed up after because I was pulled, and then I went back and I hit my head on the window, but that backlash right there wasn't as hard as like that initial hit, so the window didn't bust out on my side. Maybe he just has a hard head, I don't know. Sarah said that she turned around and looked at me, and I was just sitting up straight, like with my eyes open, just like staring, and I'm imagining that was the part where I was just kind of like blacked out for a second. And then she said that she saw him seize, and then she just got out of the car to make sure we were all okay, and that's when she pulled me out of the car, like had me sit on the ground. So then Marcus gets on the phone with 911, just like, we were in a car accident in Garden of the Gods, my brother had a seizure, he's not awake. And I guess he woke up in the meantime of them on the phone. The firefighters get there first. The fire station is not that far from Garden of the Gods. It's like less than a mile away. So the firefighters show up and they're kind of talking to us about what happened. And I remember him asking me for my ID, and so I gave him my ID, and he's like, can you call your parents? And I was like, sure. Like, I just want to let you know, I don't remember doing any of this. I don't remember any of this happening. I don't remember the 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. It was just what I've been told. So I called my parents and my mom answered. Mind you, this is like 11:30 at night or midnight. I guess I started crying or something and I couldn't talk to her, so the firefighter took the phone from me and talked to my parents and just said, I guess, like, your daughter's been in a car accident, like, this is where we are, can you come and like get her or help her or whatever. After that, I was sitting in the back of the ambulance because the people wanted to check me out. They knew that my boyfriend had had a seizure, but they didn't know if I had a seizure, and so they were asking me questions. I guess I seemed to have checked out and I was completely fine. I had no external injuries at all. I had no seizure, no sign of anything that was wrong with me on the outside. So my parents show up and they said that I was sitting on the side of the road when they showed up. I kept saying, I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold, like, oh, I'm hot, can I have my jacket, can I have my jacket, where's my jacket, I'm cold, where's my jacket? And so they give me my jacket and I'm like, I have to pee, I need to go to the bathroom, can we go home, I need to go to the bathroom. Just like, my brain was not right. Like, I obviously was concussed. Something was going on. So when my parents got there and while I was talking like uncontrollably, the police officer actually came up to my parents and said, like, is this your daughter? And they were like, yeah. And they were like, well, I want to let you know that if she was in the middle or if she was in that right seat, she would have flown out the car. Because my boyfriend was like 6'2", 200 pounds, and he knocked out the window with his head. But they were like, she would have flown out of the car and probably wouldn't have made it if he wasn't sitting there. That's huge to think about, that just because that side of the car, like the handle didn't work and I didn't get into the right side of the car, I had to get into the left side of the car. Like, guys, that's something else. Like, that's something greater than what we are. That's just crazy that if their car didn't work on the right side, like, I probably wouldn't be here today. So my parents had taken me home, laid me down on the couch, and I just kept going. I was crying, I was laughing, I was happy, I was sad, had to pee, I didn't have to pee, I was cold, I was hot, like all over the place. That night, my dad checked on me every couple hours or so, because when you are concussed, you can't fall into like a deep sleep if you were severely concussed before you get checked out by a doctor. So my dad kept waking me up just to make sure my pupils were okay and that I wasn't having like a brain bleed or something. I think we had to wait until Monday to go to like an urgent care. So this had to have been a Friday or Saturday night. I had to wait till Monday. My parents wouldn't let me have my phone. They wouldn't let me watch TV just because it's bad for having a concussion. And I couldn't even tell them what happened because I was so distraught. I couldn't even remember half of it. And every time I closed my eyes and tried to sleep or thought about the situation, all I saw was white. And that's like what I saw when we automatically hit the guardrail. Like, I couldn't sleep because every time I closed my eyes, I just heard this bang, bang every single time. And it was just horrible because, I don't know, I just couldn't sleep and it was really, really scary. I couldn't drive in a car without falling asleep. I couldn't drive in a car without being scared. And every time I saw a guardrail, like, I would freak out and have so much anxiety. Mind you, this is the weekend before prom. As far as everybody else's injuries, Sarah and Marcus both had concussions, I think, and then everything else was completely fine. And then my boyfriend actually went to the ER. He like stayed overnight because he had a seizure and he just had a concussion as well, which I don't know how he just had a concussion because he like broke the glass with his head. Prom is in like 6 days or something and I'm planning on still going, and my parents were like, no, you're not. Like, you are not going to prom. You are concussed. Everybody's concussed. And so, of course, I'm so upset. Like, it's the worst day of my life. My parents are horrible. I hate my parents. I can't go. We ended up all going together, and our parents went too. And we went for like 30 minutes just to take pictures and just say that we went. But we had like a concussion party prom. And I don't remember prom either. I have pictures, but I don't remember prom. I'm gonna kind of go into like some PTSD, depression kind of stuff. So if you're triggered by that kind of stuff, I probably wouldn't watch the rest of it. But there are other things that go on after a traumatic experience that are not necessarily on the outside. After a period of time after the car accident, even following the accident, I just wasn't myself. I would isolate myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I hated everybody. And I wasn't really like that before. I just started isolating myself. I hated everything. I hated life. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't really care. And my parents just thought it was kind of like a teenager phase. And at this time, I was dating somebody else. So I had broken up with this guy. This is a few months later. I'm dating a new guy and all of this stuff is going on. So I'm like fighting with my parents, like running to him to like stay the night, and my parents are horrible, so I'm gonna stay with you. I always hung out over there. He never came over. And that's just kind of how my relationship with that guy went, because I was going through a lot internally that I didn't necessarily realize. So after a while, I started to realize that I was not right in the head, and I started writing down everything that I was feeling. I was not necessarily suicidal, but I just didn't care if I died, if that makes sense. Like, if something happened to me and I happened to die, I just didn't really care, but I wasn't going to harm myself. I don't know if that makes sense at all, or if anybody else has ever felt that way. So I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I've never cut myself. I never thought about cutting myself. It was just this weird, deep sadness. And I felt like everybody was better off without me here, but I wasn't suicidal. It's really hard to explain. I'm gonna stop talking about it because I don't even know how to explain it. I started writing down my symptoms, which were isolating myself. I hated everybody. I hated myself. I didn't want to be alive, but I wasn't suicidal. I couldn't sleep. I was having bad dreams. And I kind of looked that up, and I kind of found that all of these things lined up with PTSD. And when I thought of PTSD before I went through all this stuff, I thought of like military people, like Marines and stuff that come back with PTSD. And I didn't think that it would be something that I could have. So I brought these papers to my mom. I printed off like a whole PTSD article and just kind of highlighted my symptoms, because it kind of put symptoms, and I highlighted almost every single one of them except for like one or two. I brought it to my mom. She was like, okay, like this is how you're feeling? And I was like, yes, like this is how I'm feeling. I ended up going to therapy, and I did not want to go to therapy. My mom kind of signed me up for it because it's what I needed to talk about what had happened, but I didn't know how, and I just didn't want to go. I already hated the lady before I even went there. Like, I just hated everybody. So I ended up going there. I was like crying the whole way up. We live in Colorado Springs, and it was all the way up in Denver, so I was like bitching the entire way up. I just didn't want to go. So when I got there, I kind of explained what had happened and how I had felt about what had happened, and it helped me a little bit. And I ended up actually going to therapy for a couple months. It wasn't the easiest. I was diagnosed with PTSD, which was kind of weird because I was like, I don't know. I don't really tell people about it because I just don't think that it's that deep. And I just think a lot of people have more serious problems or more serious PTSD than I do. But I just want to tell you guys out there that if you do have PTSD or you are having these feelings, it's okay to talk to somebody, because that's literally what turned my life around and helped me feel better, be better, feel better about myself, be happy about life again. And that was one thing that I was like, no, like I'm not going to therapy. I just hate it. But anyways, I went to therapy, and if you need to talk to somebody or if you need to go to therapy, I would highly suggest doing that. So this is in like October of that following year, and I didn't get help for a long time. So I was like pretty deep in this depression, PTSD, that I had no idea what was going on until somebody helped me work through it. So that is it for my car accident story. If that helped any of you with coping with something, whether it's a car accident or something that happened to you, some kind of traumatic experience, and you are going through these feelings that I was kind of going through and you're really confused about them, I would highly suggest going and talking to somebody and realizing that you have a problem, because that was my number one thing. I didn't realize that I had a problem until I was really depressed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got to know a little bit more about me. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave, and we will see you in our next video. Bye guys.